The current deal being offered by the P5+1 to Iran to resolve Tehran's pursuit of nuclear technology is not just a bad deal, it's catastrophic. That's the message from Israeli Economy Minister Naftali Bennett to Washington. Israel's message to the Obama administration is the only deal with Iran can be one to dismantle their potential capability to build a nuclear bomb.
So this is not about us. It's not about Israel. While we genuinely hope this can be avoided, we cannot sit quietly as the West rushes into a deal with Iran that could be catastrophic. A deal that does not dismantle Iran's nuclear program will enable the Islamic Republic to become a nuclear state. That's what we call a bad deal.
Following promising talks in Geneva, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry has asked the U.S. Congress to pause the legislative process to impose additional sanctions against Tehran. His goal is to gain some breathing space for the negotiations.
That's the subject of the negotiation. The sanctions were put in place in order to bring about a negotiation. Because the first order of business of any superpower is to exercise its power thoughtfully and respectfully. And if we had to turn to a military option because we are left no other option, we must show the world we have exhausted every possible remedy and opportunity.
U.S. President Barack Obama says the sanctions regime against Iran could be ramped up again after a pause. But that argument is being met with skepticism on Capitol Hill. And the Israelis want pressure increased, especially now that Iran's economy is in shambles.
Iranian and Persian society is a great society. They're very similar to Israelis. So they're not going to be willing to tolerate the isolation and the way of life that the North Koreans are, for the lack of a better term, tolerating. I am convinced that if we ratchet up the pressure, we can get the right deal.
The latest IAEA report indicates Iran has followed through on one promise, significantly slowing the expansion of its ability to produce highly enriched uranium, a key ingredient for a nuclear bomb. Israeli Economy Minister Naftali Bennett also told the Washington audience his country will not outsource their national security. Washington and its allies are focused on the promised resumption of talks with Iran in Geneva on November 20th. This is Priscilla Huff for JN1 in Washington.